Hey, this is Jelani Stokes, and today on Artist Spotlight, we're going to be talking about the Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers are an American rock band from San Jose, California, known for their flexibility in performing across multiple genres. Tom Johnston provided the lead vocals and musical identity for the band from 1970 to 1975. During this time, they featured a mainstream rock sound with elements of folk, country, and R&B. In 1975, Michael McDonald joined the band as a keyboard player and second lead vocalist to give some relief to Johnston, who was suffering from health problems at the time. Johnston and McDonald performed together for one album, Taking It to the Streets, before Johnston retired fully in 1977. Frequent lineup changes followed the band throughout the rest of the 70s, and the band broke up in 1982, with Pat Simmons being the only consistent member, having appeared on all of their albums. In 1987, the Doobie Brothers reformed with Johnston back in the fold. McDonald, who had previously made several guest appearances since the reformation, returned to the band full-time in 2019 for their 50th anniversary tour. All right, that gives you a little information on the Doobie Brothers, and now it's time for my 2 cents. And with this one, I just have one big element that I want to discuss, and I really want to discuss how the Doobie Brothers literally felt like two different bands. This is how. Tom Johnston was the original lead vocalist of the Doobie Brothers. He was also the main songwriter, and his style really featured a lot of mainstream rock, country, and folk, like I explained in the bio piece. And the band really lived by this. This is what got them popular. This is what got their audience excited for the Doobie Brothers. And they had a lot of hits off of this, like Listen to the Music, Long Train Running, Black Water, tons and tons and tons of great songs during that time. And they were really rolling and rolling. Tom Johnston really provided the band with an identity. But unfortunately, he then got ill, just basically due to the rigors of the road and being in a band and having that popularity demand after you, that the band had to continue to move on. So they recruited Michael McDonald to come in and help assist with their current schedule. So since he was doing such a great job, they said, okay, why don't you come and join the band? Now, Michael McDonald is the focal point of the transition. Michael McDonald has such a unique, soulful voice that it literally shifted the band's direction from rock, country, folk feel to almost a completely straight R&B jazz feel. Michael McDonald's voice is soulful that it doesn't fit that earlier mode as much. Bringing a keyboard into a rock band and the way he plays really kind of shifted their tone into that world. So a lot of times, if you see the talent that someone has, you want to use it and put it out there for it and make it something of a strength. You don't want to hide it because it just doesn't fit. You make it fit what you're doing. So they said, okay, let's ride with this guy. And it literally took them from that country, folk, rock sound into the R&B, jazzy sound that you would get with their later albums. And I think if you listen to Taking It to the Streets, which was literally the only album where Johnston and McDonald were on there together, you can see this mix of sounds coming together. But Johnston already started to see that his input was declining in favor of McDonald's, because on Taking It to the Streets, he had only a couple of songs on that album, which was really dominated by Michael McDonald. So in 1977, he just said, hey, you guys don't need me. You got Michael, keep going, and no hard feelings. And he left. And it really wasn't any big bad blood. He just understood that the role that he held in the band before was gone. Because they got this wonderful vocalist here who's amazing and has such a unique voice that gives them a different sound, that they were going to ride with this. So they rode with it from 1977, Living on a Fault Line, and then they went into Minute by Minute, and then with their last album before they broke up, One Step Closer. So literally, if you took the beginning of the Doobie Brothers' career, I would say take their first 2 albums, maybe the first 3, and compared it with their last 3. If you did not have labels, if you put like blank white labels on all of those albums, I guarantee you would say this is a different band. These bands are not connected. And to have a band with the same name have that kind of drastic change is remarkable. Now, with the Bee Gees, here's the thing. The Bee Gees, although they did have that kind of change from the 60s folk rock into the disco R&B, you still had the Bee Gees voices that kept it all unified. So you can still say, wow, oh, okay, that's the Bee Gees. With this one, you don't even have Tom Johnston's lead voice. You just have Michael McDonald in this voice. Like, oh my. So when you put those 3, those albums together, 2 completely different bands. So I find that completely fascinating. And it always makes me wonder, and if anybody who's a Doobie Brothers fan, please make comments down in the chat. I always felt like, how did people feel about the band's changes? Did the Tom Johnston fans just leave the band because now they got this new sound? And then did the Michael McDonald fans just completely shun the Tom Johnston era stuff because they do sound different? Don't get me wrong, Tom Johnston did have some elements of R&B, but it was just elements to me. When Michael McDonald came in, it was just full-on R&B, jazz kind of sounds that they were going for. They even dubbed it the Michael McDonald sound later on in the late 70s, early 80s. So I find that to be super fascinating with this band and how they can have 2 different genres within the same band be successful all at the same time, kind of. I won't say at the same time because they had different eras, but the same band had 2 relatively different success periods with the early hard rock, country rock, and the later R&B, jazz feel. All right, it's time for Jelani song picks. These are songs that are my personal favorites, as well as songs that I think if anybody's interested in learning and getting into the Doobie Brothers would be some great starting off points for you. So without further ado, let's get into that. We're going to start off with that anthem, which I think is great. Listen to the music. All right, moving on, we're going to slow it down with a little bit more of a folkier sound with Blackwater. Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling, Mississippi moon. All right, we're going to move on to that church anthem feel of Taking It to the Streets. And finally, we're going to go to that smooth out hit, What a Fool Believes. And there you go. Those are my song choices that would help you get in to the Doobie Brothers. If you have any more suggestions, please put them down in the comments section. I would love to see what songs you may add to this list on top of my choices. Also, I've left links to each one of those songs in my comments, so if you want to go click right on those, hear those songs fully, please, I left that for you to help you out. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and make sure to click that notification bell, because when I make that next video, and I will, you're going to be one of the first ones to know about it. But until then, I'm just going to insist that you have yourself a fantastic day. Take care. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this one. And if you have any comments, please comments right here, likes right here, subscribe right here. Thank you again. Look forward to seeing you soon.